Chloe, obviously a really difficult story, the death of a migrant, 66 rescued in the from a capsized inflatable dinghy yesterday. Tragically, one of them has died. This sort of really underlines the imperative of stopping these vile people trafficking gangs bringing migrants across the channel, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that many people squeezed onto a dinghy. I mean, I know these are quite big dinghies, but I mean, still, that is just so unsafe. And people are paying thousands and thousands to get on these incredibly unsafe boats. And, you know, I think this really shows the human side of it. This is not just about, you know, keeping migrant numbers down because we want Britain to be able to, you know, it's healthcare, schools, housing, etc., to cope with the numbers coming in. There is a very human side to it, which is that what is happening in the channel is incredibly unsafe. And people are very sadly dying as a consequence. So we need to stop these crossings. And for people who genuinely are proper refugees as opposed to economic migrants, we need to make sure that there are safe routes for them to get here.
When the British people voted to leave the European Union, I think a big part of it was, look, let's take back control of our borders. Is that completely undermined when you have the government? There's two types of migration. Obviously, there's legal migration, 750,000. Illegal makes up between 50 and 60,000. Do the British public sort of lump this into one big problem as they'd see it? And
Brexit failing?
Well, not of Brexit failure, of really the failure of the government to actually take back control of our borders.
Yes, absolutely. So when a lot of people are saying now, look, Brexit has failed, it was clearly a mistake. No, that is not the case. Brexit did not mean that immigration numbers are going to come down. It did not necessarily mean that you have, for example, less red tape and all the other benefits that we spoke about of Brexit. It means that you have the power. We now, as Britain, have the power to change things. We have not taken advantage of that power. We have not brought immigration down. We have not taken more control over our borders. And then in various other things, we have not taken advantage of the regulatory advantages that we could have by cutting red tape in various different areas. And the list goes on. We have new powers as a consequence of Brexit, but we haven't used them. Sadly, people now think that means that Brexit was a failure and we never should have done it.
Everyone's a failure. Even David Cameron back, we heard this week, is saying Brexit is a good thing. He says Britain, I'm just looking for the quote, big enough to matter and small enough to be nimble.
Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.